Hey everyone, this is going to be a series of videos, individual videos, talking about the different topics that you submitted through the Instagram poll and uploaded individually as IGTVs. And then I will be doing one big consolidation of all the videos to upload to YouTube as one video. So we're going to start with why I left social media. So I do have different talking points and things like that. You know, I'm going to be planning out these videos. The subjects I'll be talking about, I don't have a script or anything, but just talking points to kind of give you guys an overview. If there's anything that I don't mention in any of the videos, please make sure to mention it and ask me to put down in the comments those answers or what have you. There we go. When I upload to YouTube, I will include those extra bits that you guys asked about, so make sure to comment. Number one, why I left social media. Beginning with mental health. Now, point one is about mania. So for anyone who doesn't understand bipolar disorder, you should probably watch my first video on IGTV. Mania is kind of like being on a high. It's like being on drugs, but within your own brain. Your impulse control lowers, which means you're more likely to do more radical things, meaning act out behaviorally, you know, either with anger or with purchases when you want to buy things, or sexually, just impulses and urges that you get, you're more likely to act on them. Now, this does very much vary based on your personality. For example, I'm not a very angry or violent person, so that's not something that I exhibit, but what I do exhibit is purchases, is spending a lot of money, whether I have it or not. So that is something that I have to watch out for and be careful with. So as far as mania being a big reason why I left social media temporarily, is that, how do I put this? I've done a lot of traveling, but that traveling was on a shoestring budget with a lot of risks, living out of my car or even on the street. And the last time we went and we did this big trip and then we came back, and from my relationship with her, I'd have to say the biggest lesson that I learned is just to put myself in check and not let those things happen anymore. So, you know, there's not going to be any more big traveling plans. There's not going to be anything like that. It's very much found and proven that people with bipolar disorder can have manic or depressive episodes triggered with large changes in their environment, such as major travel and full-time travel, unless you have a lot of environmental factors that remain the same, like the people around you, the food that you eat, things like that. If you can keep similar patterns, then travel can be appropriate and doable. But with complete change and no appropriate social interaction, it's just not. I mean, it can be realistic, but extremely difficult. Something that I most definitely did not master. So, like I said, number one is mania. Meaning for me, spending money, things like that, being on social media in the facet that I was, meaning doing vlogging and things like that, sharing about my life. I was always paranoid, just afraid of people and, you know, just bad people out there in the world who know where I am and what I'm doing. And then just spending money that wasn't necessary, and just really having a hovering voice of social media and people on social media, drowning out my common sense thoughts on how to behave or what to do and what not to do. And then because I was so worried about what other people thought, that I just didn't always make the right choices, and some of those were at the cost of other people. You know, they were at the not only financial cost of other people, but at the emotional cost of other people, and it just wasn't appropriate. So big reason I left is mania. So that's number one. So big one that a lot of people are aware of, is I got very full of myself when I first started to gain social attention as an influencer. And not that I'm even that big right now, but I thought I was a hot shot. So I took that to the extremes with just the way that I treated my social life, the way that I treated people around me. Everything became about me. what did my numbers look like, who was following me, how many messages a day did I get, and I was using those things to gauge my self-worth. And not only is that a big ego booster, but just like I said, being self-absorbed and not putting other people first. And that ties into another point on here, but I don't think this one needs much explanation. Just don't let social media choose for you who matters and what matters. Social life. This one ties over into self-absorption. So living a life on the road and just allowing social media to be my main outlet for life, I slowly lost friends in real life. I didn't pay attention to people from my real life. And sooner than later, I didn't have people in my real life. And that just wasn't healthy. It wasn't appropriate. And I had to change that. So leaving social media temporarily was a big part of that. Just re-sparking the relationships and friendships that I had in the past and creating new ones, especially with, the life I'm living now, just being so different from that social media life. And so it doesn't mean that I won't live a life fully enveloped in social media one day. But if I'm going to get there, it's going to be a gradual process where I either bring people with me or I get acclimated with an environment of people that do live their life that way. That way, I'm not just jumping right into something where I have no connections, no friends, like I did this first time around for the past 4 years. So it took a long time to learn the lesson, but social life was totally lacking. I had friends online and people that care about me, but being online, there's so much more of a risk of people that are just not really your friends, obviously, especially if you do have any form of social pull, that they want what you have. And it blows my mind because, as I'm sitting here making this video, I have 40,000 followers. That's nothing. That's nothing. And there are people out there that are obsessed with that, even that number. And it's a number. Like, to them, it's about numbers. And you don't want to associate yourself on a personal level with people like that. And for a very long time, it didn't matter to me what angle people were coming from. I'm a pretty good read of personalities. And I even usually knew when people were just about the numbers. I'd still be friends with them because on one hand, I was like, everybody wants friends. I know what it's like to want friends. And then on the other hand, for me, it was, well, somebody is paying attention to me. And I grew up not getting a whole lot of attention, so I sucked it up. But, absorbed that attention. So just having a healthy social life. The other factor of why I temporarily left social media is regrouping. Yes, I will be coming back to social media, slowly but surely in different facets as I build a plan out, which I've been doing for a month and a half, of how I'm going to reapproach this and tackle it in a healthy way. So there is more to come. I'm not done with social media by any means. I'm only getting started. But it's going to happen at a better pace, and it's going to happen at a more thought out interval rather than just spring loaded and fire, see where it goes the way that I used to do. A big part of that, regrouping. What was the talking point? Social media strategy. So what kind of content am I going to post where and for what? So as of right now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Instagram. As I said, I'm going to have these videos uploaded every so often, just talking about the different questions that you guys asked. There's a good 20 talking points, or a good 20 topics, so they'll be running for a while. Another thing, though, is I will begin, and by the time this video releases, I might already be doing it, YouTube gaming. So I will be YouTube gaming very soon, probably 40 hours a week. I have a schedule mapped out. I've been analyzing both the algorithm and different popular channels, and we'll see, but I think it's going to be 40 hours a week. But one thing you guys can count on, as before, is don't always take me directly on my word. Kind of take it with a grain of salt, wait and see what happens, because it's usually similar to what I say, just a little tweaked. So yeah, that's part one, is social media strategy, planning things out. And I don't just mean, well, this is the time I'm going to post, and whatever I post is whatever. It's going to be planned out. So, like I said, it's just going to be a more stable strategy. Another big thing, and last but not least for this video, is finding what I want. Now, I know for a fact that I want a life in the public eye, making an influence, making a difference, maneuvering the waters of social tension and things like that. It's very interesting, and I love it. Making videos, stuff like that. It's definitely, it's what I want to do with my life, for sure. I think a lot of people get into social media and their brains, excuse me, are wrapped around the idea of being an influencer and just being important and that being their value. But for me, it truly does extend much further than that. I think that when I first approached social media, I was in a very insecure place. So I fed off the more negative aspects of it, and I allowed it to define me. Whereas this time around, or not this time around, but overall, I truly do love it. That's for sure, regardless of the other aspects of it, that I really had to tweak and work out within my own mind. So I will be for sure pursuing this as a career for the rest of my life, and this is going to happen. So, like I said, for anybody out there wondering, should you still follow along and watch, where are things going to go? Is Jim fizzling out? Well, let me tell you, there are so many people that still view my Instagram profile every week, and I haven't posted anything in a very long time. So viewership and retention has gone down maybe 5%, and I mean that 5% since the last time I posted. So a lot of people are still wondering, what am I going to be doing? Where am I at? What's going on? What's coming? And I think the people who really know me, they know that there is more coming. They know that this is the only beginning, because I'm a fighter. I don't give up. And if I really want something, I'm going to chase it until I get it. No matter how many times I trip and fall on my face, I will get back up and keep running. And that's social media for me. That's not social media for me. That is the culmination of what social media is providing for the community that I built and for the things that, I plan to do. So, or have to plan to do, that I want to do, figure out what I want to do. So I guess that sums it up. I have to figure out what I want to do with this and where I want to take it. And really realizing, as I do more analytics and I look more into things, social media is not going to be forever. It's temporary. And a lot of people, I think most of the time in our lives, because we live such a short term, the things in our lives to us are forever. We look at them and we're like, well, this is never going to go away. Social media, it's going to evolve into something else. And it's not so much about just mastering social media and making that the only venue, but more so about figuring out what the evolution is going to turn into, and how do we create that stepping stone? How do I be a part of taking our community and evolving it with that coming stepping stone within the next decade or two? So that's going to be what we have to figure out, and you guys are all going to be a part of that with me. So like I said, figuring out what I want to do is what it's all about. And this video, like I said, is just why I temporarily left social media. And yes, I will be coming back. So thank you for being here with me. You know that I love you all. And make sure to put down in the comments any questions that you have that I did not answer on the subject of why I left social media. Do not be afraid of how bold they are or what have you. You can ask me whatever you want. It doesn't mean I'm going to answer every single one. But like I said, you're more than welcome to ask the question. So down in the comments, real quick, just let me know if there's anything else you want to know. And then whenever I do the full upload of all the videos, I will be putting a bonus extra at the end, talking about all the different points that I did not touch on here, or probably at the beginning. I don't know. Bye.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Caitlin, what can you not find? The cord to the air mattress. Oh, and anybody looking at this, don't look. She pulled. Go ahead, tell them. Oh, okay. So we had ramen on top of a dresser, and so I was getting the ramen down, but I didn't realize that our old lady.
Let's try again.
Caitlin, what can you not find? The cord to the air mattress. Oh, and anybody looking at this, don't look. She pulled. Go ahead, tell them. Oh, okay. So we had ramen on top of a dresser, and so I was getting the ramen down, but I didn't realize that our old lady.
Okay, let's see if I can find anything else.
Point two, our van was on top of the ramen, so when I tried to pull it, it went so tell them what you lost. I lost the cord to the air mattress. Okay, now we're talking about the automatic blow-up air mattress, right? The cord's in it? About the automatic blow-up air mattress, right? The cord's in it?
And that's it, folks. Watch the replay.
I'm gonna make shrimp croissants and probably broccoli.
Thank you, babe. Okay, everyone. So another big topic of concern has been, how is my mental health since being unmedicated? So first off, I would like to point out that I have been unmedicated for bipolar type 1 disorder, which is manic, more so manic. Anytime I experience a depressive episode, it was induced by medicine. But it's been almost 3 months. I believe in about a week, it'll be 3 months since I've gotten back off of medication. Now, for anyone who knows me from before I was medicated, it was bad. Really bad. And so I was medicated for just about a year. No, a little over a year. Just a little over a year. And honestly, the medication, I tried several different ones till I found one that truly subsided the symptoms that I had that were debilitating, but it also created a slew of other symptoms that just made life unlivable regardless. And a lot of people argue that there is, oh, well, maybe it's just not the right medication for you. You have to do this, you have to do that. You talk to anybody with bipolar type 1. And yes, I have done my research. I've talked to a lot of people with bipolar. I seek them out. And it is such an unexplored, misunderstood, ignorant topic for not only most people, but also for modern medicine. We like to say, oh, modern medicine has these answers and, we're so advanced. Guys, we are still, in my opinion, when it comes to modern medicine, at least for the treatment of bipolar disorder type 1. I can't speak for any other disorder, but bipolar type 1 disorder for mental health, the level of understanding is so minimal. We still think that the earth is the center of the universe, and anybody that questions that is wrong. I don't think we're anywhere near beginning to fully grasp and understand the scope of not only where bipolar comes from, but what it's about and what it does, and especially how to treat it. It's very experimental. So a lot of times, the pharmaceutical industry will base their statistics and their success rate on, like a case-by-case basis or a percentage, right? Well, we found this effective in this many patients, so it's considered an effective drug. When realistically, it's just not. That's one. Like I said, unless you're having a 60 to 70% success rate, in my opinion, that is still considered experimental. So I think the tricky part about mental health, especially bipolar, is that it's very individual. It is very, it has a lot to do with the individual person and how their personality reacts to this disease that they have. And we're not treating the personality disorders that are essentially being reproduced because of the illness the person has. We're trying to treat the illness, but we're not getting down to the root of it, which is ultimately the illness is affecting the person's personality. It is altering their personality and causing personality disorders. And then we think, well, we give the medicine and it goes away. No, some of those things, they're not permanent, but they become habitual. And so whereas the medicine, or I'm sorry, not the medicine, the illness will cause a habitual issue, and then the medicine takes away the mania, but then the person still has the habit, and they're like, well, you're just not on the right medicine. No, it's not the medicine, it's the person. The person needs psychiatric counseling, not just medicine. And if the person isn't getting better, oftentimes, at least in my case, it was me. I was the problem, because my mania caused me to get into habits and commit to personality traits that were not really me, but because of this this attitude and this lifestyle and this mindset of just drug-induced and fueled. And when I say drug-induced, I mean within the brain, the chemicals within the brain, your inhibitions go down, and you commit actions that it's not who you really are. But after doing it so many times and whatnot, it becomes a habit. And then even after you're on medicine, you don't stop behaving that way. And then they just tell you it's the medicine, but it's not, it's you. And so I have had to change myself. And it wasn't the medicine that did that for me. And I didn't find that out until I got off of my medicine. So that leads us on to the next point, how I'm doing off of medicine. We're going to touch on the points quickly of the issues, because I think that's probably what people are most concerned with. Am I behaving the radical way that I used to behave? And so we're going to touch on that now. Okay, so mania. Touching on mania first, obviously. Excuse me. I have a minor episode once every 2 to 3 weeks. For the last 3 months, I've had one roughly once every 2 to 3 weeks. And that is largely in part just the cycle of my mind and, how things work. I don't fully understand how it works, but it usually comes on just by I have a lot of energy, and then it's followed by slight delusion, whether it's just thinking that something's going on in my life that's not, usually accompanied by paranoia, but we'll get further into that in a little bit. But like I said, once every 2 to 3 weeks. And what I found out is the reason that it does not escalate to a major episode or a life-altering episode is actually because of the way that I manage it. So a lot of times if I begin to get that energy, or I'm getting upset, or I'm getting into delusions, you fight it with logic, deep breaths, deep breaths, and just calming down and removing yourself from whatever environment you're in, and just, unless it's a paranoia thing. If it's paranoia, then you actually want to get out and about with people. Some people will say that that's the opposite, but this is how it's worked for me. I don't know how it works for other people, but for me, if I'm paranoid, I need to be around other people who are thinking more logically than I am, who can console me, but also give me a reality check and say, Jim, think about what you're saying, think about how you're acting. It doesn't make sense. And they'll explain to me why it doesn't make sense. And oftentimes it has to do with not having enough proof for whatever I'm scared of or whatever delusions I'm in at the time. So my mania mostly comes through as wanting to spend a lot of money, which I haven't been doing, which is good. For example, a package that I like to get from Domino's is like $40. I'll get 3 things. And I only did that twice in a month. Whereas I used to get it, I'd be buying Wendy's every day of the week. And so, I've gotten a lot better with that. And then the other thing is overeating. I am not doing good with that, to be completely honest. When I have a bout of mania, I will just consume and consume and consume and just keep eating because it feels good to eat. and your inhibitions are, less. So I get hungry, I eat till I feel like I'm going to throw up, and then I wait a half hour and eat more. And so that's something I really need to work on. But yeah, that's what I deal with mania. Next is paranoia. Paranoia is a hard one for me. I think I have PPD, which is personality, what is it? No, not personality, sorry. It is paranoid personality disorder. And look it up. It's just, you don't trust people and things like that. Social media has definitely fueled that. A lot of people just trying to screw me over has fueled that. I get scared that people are recording my phone calls. I get nervous about, somebody random's gonna come knock on my door. Just irrational stuff. I mean, people knocking on my door is a little more rational because I've legitimately had it happen because of social media. And just people, whether they want to meet me in a good way or they want to cause me issues, whatever the case is. But, that's a thing. Paranoia. I've only had one major episode of paranoia in the past 3 months since I'm off medication, and that was just thinking that somebody very close to me was trying to, entrap me or something. And I think the biggest thing that I have to do when paranoia comes along, and I would invite you to do the same, is realize how illogical whatever your paranoia is. For me, like I said, thinking somebody's trying to set me up or screw me over or anything like that, I think about 3 things. First off, I haven't done anything wrong, either in general or to that person. Why would they want to cause me harm? 2, is there any evidence that supports my hypothesis that somebody else would back up? If not, then it's probably irrational logic. And 3 is, have I fact-checked myself? Am I behaving in a paranoid way in other areas of my life? And if I am paranoid, okay, I need to write this off. Don't acknowledge my own logic. It's a hard thing to live with, but you can function and survive. Last but not least is mania-induced narcissism. So for anyone who doesn't know, mania with bipolar disorder can cause major delusions of grandeur depending on the severity of your illness. And if you don't know what delusions of grandeur are, it means that your brain is convincing itself that you as a person are either superior to others or you are famous or different things like that. I definitely experienced that in the beginning of my social media career. I got a little bit of social attention and automatically I thought I was famous, which is obviously totally irrational. And so with that comes narcissism, especially if it's inbred in you. I mean, it's in my blood. It's class A narcissism. But I definitely learned how to overcome that a lot by stepping outside of myself, caring about other people. Like I said, especially in the last 3 months, just putting myself out there for other people and trying to rebuild relationships. Your social relationships have a lot to do with that. If people call you a narcissist and you're in total denial of that, or, just people don't like you in general, whatever, or people are concerned about you, you're always putting yourself first. Gauge it by the amount of people who trust you, not the amount of people who are in your life, the amount of people who trust you. And that will help you to determine, that's what did it for me. Like, what helped me realize at that point that I finally realized that I was a narcissist, was that there was nobody in my life that trusted me. And that was because every move that I made was for me and never for anyone else. So, I definitely worked on that a lot. I've been putting myself out there. I do a lot of volunteering. I've been building friendships, relationships, rebuilding old relationships, and just taking a knee. Seriously, that is big. In mistakes that you made or anything that's gone on, taking a knee, owning up to what you've done, and rebuilding relationships, rebuilding bridges, and just being accountable. That's a big thing that narcissists don't do, is be accountable for their actions. So just work on that. That's what I'm working on. And I'd say that 3 months ago, I was probably, 3 months ago, I was a 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10. But I definitely started out at a 7 or 8 out of 10. And now I'd like to think that I'm down to about a 4 out of 10. and I think a healthy level is a 2 or a 3. That's pretty normal for most people. But like I said, just something I'm working on. So that is kind of just covering all the issues, the bad things. As far as good things, like I said, my life is getting on track. I'm making much healthier choices. I would say that my mental health, I am not fully stable yet, and I'm not fully capable of just getting back into regular life yet, but I've made major strides to get there, and I'm getting better every day. So thank you to everybody who's out there praying for me, who's out there rooting for me, and just, like I said, thank you for those of you who stuck it out with me. I appreciate all of you. Once again, you know that I love you, and I really hope that you decide to go down into the comments and let me know if you have any other questions about the state of my mental health after this 3-month period of being away. If any of this has helped you from this video in your own personal life, please let me know in the comments. I will be answering every single comment. So, thank you guys.
Hey everyone. So, I knew that I wouldn't get away with... No, I'm not live, don't worry. Oh my gosh, Kate almost just freaked out. She's like, are you live? Okay, so I don't want to release all the older videos without giving you something new. This isn't much, but just to say hi. So, here's what's going on. We are settled in our apartment. We are ready to come back to reality. We are ready to start making content again. Caitlin's actually smiling. She's very excited. Cooking with Kate is coming back. Kate's Corner is coming back. I will begin vlogging again about something. I don't know what yet. I didn't get there. You know how I am. You know how we are. It's just one step at a time. So everything else is in order. Very, very excited. And beyond that, then I will start coming live on Instagram and YouTube in the near future. I believe Cooking with Kate will be live. I just got her a brand new, we got a brand new cooking set, 10-piece cooking set. It is, what do you call it? Robin's Egg Blue? Yeah, Robin's Egg Blue. It's gorgeous, non-stick, all this great stuff. Apparently that's important. She loves it, so that's good. And apparently a lot of you are very excited for her to start cooking again, so that's good. As far as me, I'm pretty boring, but you guys know I can always find something to entertain me with. So love you all very much, and thank you so much for coming back to us. Hi everybody, I'm Jim.
I'm Kate.
And this is the most positive community throughout social media. We are known as Feet Piece. So, with that said, yeah, God is good, life is good, things are interesting. As usual, you guys know the spiel. But as time continues to move forward, there were a lot of people who... You must be really hungry. There are a lot of people who really, if you're watching this replay, just watch the replay. We're doing this much more for the replay than the live. We didn't really prepare for anybody. There's only like 20 people live right now. From our pool. So either way, are you good? Mm-hmm. Okay. Either way, we did not delete our old videos, contrary to popular belief. No. I got a lot of messages about that. Why did you delete your old YouTube videos? Why da. I just didn't say anything about it. Didn't respond to any of that. And I wanted people to be surprised because a big question within our community was, is Jim healthy again? Are things getting better? And I think a big part of that was over the past years, I've always deleted everything, right? When I had a crash, I got rid of everything. And I wanted people to realize that this time around, I did not have a crash. I genuinely realized that for my mental health and for the stability of our, relationship, that we had to take a hiatus from social media. Shawnee, welcome on. Hey, how's it going? Latrice, welcome on. It's healthy for us to take a little hiatus from social media. Gather our bearings, figure out what we're going to do. Found an apartment. Our social media is paying okay. Just kind of getting everything together and making it all work. So beyond that then is just, like I said, finding back office ways to make money that didn't have to include, revealing and exposing our entire lives 24/7. Good to see you too. Glad to see you too. Thank you. Gavin, welcome on. Tim Boone's welcome on. So that's it. Things are looking good for us. Things are looking good for you guys because now you get to see us. No, but like I said, stay humble, stay humble. We'll be pushing out content. we have Kate's Corner. We're going to have Cooking with Kate. There's a lot more coming with that. Just obviously formulating it as time moves forward. We got our nice 10-piece kitchen set. If you haven't seen it on Instagram story, I did just post over on YouTube. We now have 500 people viewing our YouTube videos at once, which is nuts. That's not just one video. That's several videos. But we are getting real-time traffic. There's people watching the videos, which is pretty nuts. And we're very, very grateful for that. And thank you to YouTube for the analytics boost, for the ability to view what we do have going on. Like I said, it's very advantageous for us and for our business. So, and for the community, obviously. But Sheila, welcome on. Kels, welcome on. Proud of you and the growth you've achieved. Thank you, Shawnee. Very much in part to God, very much in part to Kate, very much in part to you guys. You guys have been a large support, a lot of you through the DMs and through. What it is to your beautiful happiness.
This is a They have lots of packaging. I guess it's a thing. Big part.
I just want to see your happiness. I want every. Hey everyone. So I knew that I wouldn't get away with. No, I'm not live. Don't worry. Oh my gosh, Kate almost just freaked out. She's like, "Are you live?" Okay. So I don't want to release all the older.
processed foods, caffeine, lots of sugar, stuff like that. So I've been trying to make more food that's just homemade. It's been going okay. My husband. I love him dearly.